Hey guys, I am Josh here with another episode of the Renegade Review with Altered Carbon episodes 7 and 8. Today I have John back with me again.
What's up?
And Migdalia joining us for the first time.
Hi everyone.
So I've had to ask everyone their first time here, what is your overall thoughts on the series so far?
I really like it. Honestly, though, if we weren't doing this show, I don't think I'd see it on my own just because Netflix is churning out a new series every week, it seems like. But I think if you're a fan of like Gattaca and Blade Runner and sci-fi in general and cerebral sci-fi specifically, that you'll really like this show.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Like it's for me, it's again kind of retreading old territory, but like it took me a little while to get through the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
But
like it with everything else.
Yeah. But once I got like halfway through the second one, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm sold.
Yeah.
And you find yourself wanting more and more out of it.
Right.
It's so
and
good.
Finally, this episode we got a lot of answers.
Yeah.
A lot of backstory.
These two episodes there was a lot of flashbacks, a lot of backstory. We got
a lot of origin.
Yeah. Found out kind of where Quell and the Uprising came from, found out how Takeshi got set up with all these guys. So let's
what's Ray's story? Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
is she alive? Because we thought that she was dead this whole time.
Yeah, I mean I think that was the biggest burning question was how is she around? Because like we didn't know what had happened to her. Like she just kind of disappeared, and we were like, okay.
I honestly thought at the end of
Now she's here.
episode 6 that was Quell that was coming to save them in the ninja costume.
Right.
So I was surprised to see Ray. I didn't see that coming at all, or any of the other reveals that happens in episode 8.
So what were your questions going into episode 7? Like after everything that happened at Fight Drome in the past?
What were your questions?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot going on.
I did appreciate the whole dedicating the whole episode to doing a flashback, and that it wasn't all given to us in the first, few episodes or so, because it added a lot of mystery, and then we cared to get the answers to that. So it wasn't like the typical origin story where it's like, okay, well, we have to get through this because that's the typical formula.
Right.
We actually wanted to see this. I wanted to know more about how Takeshi got into this.
As long as you got through the first episode.
Yes.
If you did, thank
true.
you. It was worth it. It was.
But
I've said it before.
I'm a fan of ambiguous beginnings, and it fits so well into the sci-fi genre, to the horror genre, going in and not knowing how you got there in the first place. But eventually you'll get that answer, and it's usually towards the second or third act.
That's my biggest complaint with some of these sci-fi, not the sci-fi shows, but the fans of these shows, is that they'll sit there and they'll complain. I mean, maybe that's just because now we're in the age of the internet where everyone feels like they have to have instant gratification.
Right.
But just like going back to the show that I was doing before, the Star Trek Discovery, like people were constantly like, you didn't explain how this happened. Like we're 6 episodes in, give it like the season.
You'll get those answers. Sci-fi loves to give a lot of the smoking guns or the MacGuffins.
Right. I mean, we're what, 5 years out from the finale of Lost, and like people have forgotten. Like that every week we're like, what's going on? What's this new thing?
Happening?
That we're still at the end of season 6, we still had questions from the first season.
I know, but that weren't really answered. They gave a lot of unanswered smoking guns in that show, but
see, I think a good show does that. It answers a majority, but doesn't answer everything. Leaves some to you, leaves some to interpretation.
Right. It's kind of like the end of Inception.
Yeah. Did it fall? Did it not fall? Was it a dream? Was it real?
Right. There has to be a point where the show doesn't spoon feed you everything.
Yeah.
Where it's just like leave things up to interpretation. That's where all this like fan fiction for things come from. It's from people being able to fill in the gaps on their own.
Or have the question up in the air, because that's so much fun. Like we're talking about Lost years later. People are still having debates about what really happened, and if what happened at the end of Inception, did it fall or did it not fall? The little
I'm gonna do a weird thing here that no one's gonna see.
All right, did you guys see that? It's magic. Thank you, Josh.
So going back, let's start kind of at the beginning of this episode.
Okay. 7.
At the beginning of episode 7, we're gonna jump around a little bit.
Well, let me do a quick shout out to everyone in the chat
and
go ahead. YouTube. So we have Anna Miles is in the chat. Battlestar Galactica, he's sticking with that.
What up? What up?
And Ryan Thomas is here with us.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Thanks for joining.
So I'm gonna ask you guys. We're actually nearing the end of this first season of Altered Carbon. This episode, by the time we're done with this review, we'll have been done talking about episode 8, which means that we have 2 left.
Right.
So what are you guys going to watch next? There's a new show that just dropped this weekend called, was it the Frankenstein Chronicles with Sean Bean?
No.
I have no idea what that is.
No.
I'm probably going to watch at least the first episode just because it has Sean Bean.
Yeah, but like you said, like we said, the first episode thing is like,
it's tough.
You have to at least get through like 2, maybe 3.
But at least if it can hook you, and I don't think the first episode of Altered Carbon was bad. It was just slow
it was densely packed with information that you needed to know for the rest of the series.
Exactly. Yeah. It was irrelevant information at the time, but there was no way to know that.
Yeah, now we know that.
Right.
Like, especially with the stacks. Like, I mean, might as well jump kind of in. Like, in one of the flashbacks with Takeshi, we learned that Quell is actually responsible for inventing the stacks.
Makita was her.
Nadia Makita.
Nadia Makita. There it was. Yeah. So I was like, okay. Interesting, and she's the creator of this technology because she wanted to go out and see other things, and it would take longer than one lifetime, but then she immediately regrets creating this technology. And it reminded me a lot of, if you've ever read any of the reports from scientists from the Manhattan Project.
Right.
They were doing all this stuff, and they were so focused on being able to do it that once they created it and they figured out what it was getting used for, they immediately regretted it.
Right. Well, this is one of those technologies that would absolutely change the entire face of the planet. Not just one geographical region, but like this would change life as we know it.
I'm sorry.
I'm dying over here.
Something that happened in the chat. But I do with. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time we're ever hearing about Nadia Makita, right? Because I don't think it had that much of a punch to it because we hadn't like there wasn't a build up to that.
Right. Like like finding out her name wasn't really a big deal. Finding out that the leader of the Uprising was the one responsible for inventing the stacks, that's a completely different thing. Yeah, that's.
The name is not important. Who she
actually was,
and who she became,
which is actually going in with the theme of the show is that who like what your name is, who you are on the outside doesn't really matter. It's what's in your stack and who you actually are.
And to that point, I think it's very interesting that let me see, Lizzie recognizes her mom Ava. In the male sleeve automatically.
Right. Is that 8?
That's
Ava.
8. That's 8 though. That's episode 8.
That is episode 8.
So hold on, we're a little ahead of ourselves. Little ahead of ourselves, but I did want to go to
his point,
I did want to get into it. This was 7 was an origin story, 100%.
Yeah.
I really loved the beginning. You see young Tak, young Ree. Right. Really excited about that. Ree, however you want to say it. I know I'm going to say it wrong.
No,
but that's
I think it's because her full name is Raylene.
Raylene.
So I'm going with Ray. And you see him blow out his dad's stack, and the reasoning behind that was very powerful. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, because I mean, you saw Ray on the ground, bruised up.
Right.
That, we know that. Mother. Yeah, we know that the father had, violence issues because he had killed the mother, dumped her in the water. Now.
The cooling was like acid.
It dissolved the body. So yeah, that was interesting. And then the fact that he killed his dad and he's in this virtual interrogation room again.
Right.
That we've seen before. As a kid, you're like, oh crap, this is gonna get ugly fast because the series is already kind of like
But then the guy who we saw in the very first episode shows up.
Yeah, Jaeger.
Jaeger. The guy that killed his partner.
Oh yeah.
Who blasted his partner's stack. And you find out, I thought it was really interesting because here Tak is, he's like, oh, I'm screwed. Well, what did you do with my body?
I really liked his just his attitude though, like the kid's attitude.
Oh yeah,
he was like, look, what am I gonna do?
He had to grow up really fast.
Yeah, I regret nothing.
Yeah. I mean, this kid was the epitome of come at me, bro. Like it was just he was like, I did what I did. Fuck you if you don't agree.
He was a keyboard thug that could back it up.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. And he's not mad. Jaeger's not mad at all. He's just like, do you want a job?
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, hold up.
Yeah, it was like, this kid's got spunk.
Yeah.
I want to hire you.
He had to give him no choice because he was holding his sister a hostage.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
Either you do this for me or she's going to be screwed or I'm going to just throw her away and we learn what really happens here in episode 8. But that was the proposal that he was giving to.
No, it was actually later on in this episode that we learned what happened.
It is in 7 that we figured that one out.
Because Yeager promised that he was going to put her into the system and get her a good home,
Yeah.
family that loved her. And later on, we find out that
if he joins CTAC.
If he joins, if he joins the Protectorate and joins CTAC, and just goes and
basically
cooperates.
Cooperates.
Yeah.
You know,
becomes a government enforcer.
It's a recurring theme in this series that poor Tack is just somebody's bitch. You're like,
sadly enough.
Man, you think he's this badass, but he's just on a leash. He's on
Still a badass, though.
I mean, I don't know. I feel bad because it's like, man,
he's
he was
like Wolverine, you know?
Yeah.
All right,
okay. But he's still a badass.
All right. Badass with a heart of gold.
Oh my God, we're going there.
Can that be a movie? Can someone write that?
An immortality.
No, I want like a movie next year called Badass with a Heart of Gold.
There we go.
We should start writing that.
Yeah.
Hashtag Productions.
Yeah.
Ooh.
PCR Productions.
I'm in.
Hey, Jalen. Jalen just came in the chat there. Hi.
Hey, Jalen, are you watching? Are you watching this? I don't remember.
Daniel did say that he felt that Takeshi's backstory could have been done quicker. That the episode kind of dragged.
I don't know. I think the love. I think it went
back and forth.
I think the love scene was a little bit drawn out, but I think that the conflict between Tack and his love for Quell versus Tack and his love for his sister was kind of an important moment, and without that kind of dull, like you didn't. I felt a lot of tension.
Right.
There, and I liked it, and maybe you're right. Maybe it could have been done quicker, but I felt like it definitely transferred a lot.
Only because they repeated a lot of the flashback scenes we've seen earlier.
Right.
I enjoyed the love story because obviously he held this love for her for a very, very long time. But they did replay a lot of the old training flashbacks that they had already aired, like episode 4 and 5.
But this gave us a lot more context into where those were coming from.
Sure.
Like there was that training montage where.
I love how you keep saying montages. I'm just like picturing him singing and like doing the Carlton and shit.
Although I guess this wasn't really a montage; it was just a scene because it wasn't a lot of things back to back. But there was that one training scene where the guy who was like kind of a dick to him the entire time after they got like brought into the rebellion or the uprising or whatever you want to call it. Was like, no, I'm going to take you out, and then they just started fighting, and Quell kicked their ass.
He did. Yeah, she did.
Yeah,
it's like you are the weapon. The weapons are not the weapon.
Wait, which is interesting because I want to know how she got to the point from where from where she was. Okay, I'm a scientist that built the technology that allows us to be a thing. To I'm this badass, like ninja warrior.
Right.
See, I think it's more the fact that she knows how all this technology works, the stacks and everything, and how to manipulate your sleeve so well. That she's just a little bit more aware, and that's all I've really understood envoys to be, is that they're just really aware of their surroundings and how
and able to control their circuitry, I guess.
Yeah, they're much more in tune with themselves.
Right.
And is that her original sleeve? Because Takeshi doesn't recognize her as being Nadia. And is Makita a futuristic name or an Asian last name?
Well, like apparently that doesn't matter because like Takeshi Kovacs is a
Slavic. No, of course not. But the question is that her original?
Oh, I'm going to say no. Just because we don't at this point we don't know how long like the whole sleeve thing has been around. I mean, it's been at least since Takeshi was a kid because he's got one, his sister had one, his dad had one.
I would think it is her original sleeve. I bet you she had a few clones.
You think she?
I think she created this technology. I'm fairly certain someone paid her a lot of friggin' money for it, and she's probably fairly well off. I wouldn't be surprised to see her back in later episodes because
I'm still waiting for it.
Right? Honestly, right. In this show, nothing is out. It's like One Piece. Nobody dies apparently.
Right. Well, I was expecting. I mean, this kind of comes into play later, but with the pile of stacks that he found at the museum.
Right.
Like, I mean, now we know what actually happened to those.
Yeah.
But I was expecting him to start using those to bring back the other envoys.
Yeah, you did say that, and I thought that was an interesting theory and very plausible. But they were damaged.
Yeah, now
a lot of them were damaged.
Yeah, well now we know that they're actually all
malware,
they're all malware. They've been infected with viruses that can't.
You can't do anything with
with
them.
them.
Which I thought that scene
crazy.
was just absolutely brutal. You saw everyone in the envoy in the revolution just turn against each other, and that was brutal.
The raining ash, which we saw in episode 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So you got the context.
Something else that we saw in the scene that I kind of want to go back a little bit for when Takeshi and Ray first get brought into the rebellion or the uprising, whatever, and they're walking into their headquarters, and you see the Songspire tree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reoccurring.
Which was a thing, and even earlier than that, we saw when they were hiding in the woods. Tak was looking at the roots of the Songspire that were like growing around.
A boulder.
They were growing around a boulder, and he was questioning whether they had been used for like some sort of like ancient architecture on that planet or what was going on. So one of my questions is, what happened to the indigenous species from that planet? The Songspire tree is
right there. We're showing the roots growing on the boulder.
Yeah, like, you know, this tree definitely has some sort of deeper meaning than what we're getting from it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to find that out in the next 2 episodes.
I would agree. I think that's
because
definitely
in that scene that you were just talking about, when all the envoys were infected with the malware, we see the ash just covering the Songspire tree.
Right.
It looked like it had been destroyed as well. And for the first time we saw that, I thought that was the one that was inside of Bancroft's house.
Oh, okay. That would have been full circle.
Right, which is why...
Which is anti this show, I'm going to tell you guys now. Nothing comes full. But, okay, so we're going back, and I kind of want to go back. When he did show the roots on the boulder there, and there's the...
So it is destroyed.
It has a branch missing now because of the bombs getting dropped. But I thought it was really interesting that he had just... This is the first time Tak had been in his... original body when he came back with SeaTac.
Oh yeah.
And he just happened to be on a mission that he ran into his sister, and it was so...
Well, I mean, that's kind of an interesting thing too, is that once he got inducted into SeaTac, they told him, okay, we're gonna put you in a different body, and he was in a full-grown adult body. They put him into a fully grown adult body.
As a boy.
Yeah.
You know, I think he was like 7 or something.
Yeah,
he was crazy.
Something like that.
And so and then he finally they figured out that, you know, the government had kept his body and actually not only just kept it on ice, they actually made it they let it grow and they matured it, and they somebody put a lot of work in.
Yeah, they let people use it.
Yeah, they put a lot of work in. The guy had some gains, you know. He was a lot bigger than he was when he was 7.
I mean, apparently that's what the future is with the the sleeves are basically
what you can afford.
Yeah. And so he's kind of
I don't have an image of it. You can kind of see it over on his chest. He's got like tattoos.
He is stacked, man. I mean, I'm not into that, but damn, that is a good looking man. That is a good looking man.
I mean, I can't. Disclaimer: really John is not into that.
You know what? I'm just throwing it out there. You know what? I am secure enough in my sexuality. That is a damn fine looking man. I'm just throwing it out there. So, and you know, you see everyone else in the SeaTac team, they're all drugging up because they got to get used to and adjusted to they're forcing their minds and bodies to kind of mesh well together. And it seems like Tak, because this is his original sleeve, he's like, I'm good. It seems like it.
Yeah.
And then, so I just thought that was really cool, because having never seen your sister since that incident with your stepdad, and then going from full man, and then having never seen your brother, they both instantly knew.
Right.
Like, there was a comment about the necklace, but, I mean, you have a gun to your head, you have a gun to someone's head.
People grow up, they look totally different. But again, I can't comment on that because we're not on episode 8.
She had the Mike Tyson, you know, she had the Mike Tyson tat. You're like, all right, looking kind of hard. You know, I liked it. I got that comment made, and I was like, that's a good one. I was like Mike Tyson. I was like, oh, that's perfect. And then they just obliterate everyone and go on the run. And then they join the envoys.
I mean, that scene too was just great, because I haven't rewatched it, but I believe in that scene, Takeshi was going after the
Yakuza.
Was he going after the Yakuza?
Yeah, that's why they were there. It's like a raid.
No. I mean, once they turned, was Takeshi because it seemed like they were each killing their own people.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, he was going after
he was going after Protectorate, SeaTac, and she was just going after the Yakuza people.
It was a mixed bag. I saw.
So it was like a betrayal.
Yeah.
To save each other.
Like they totally just like both turned. And went after the people that were trying to kill the other one.
Yeah.
And that kind of just goes to show like how close their bond is too.
Yeah.
It's family, you know.
And that kind of works against Tak later.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he eventually gets he's on. I think it was the second mission with the Uprising when he got captured.
Yeah. Yeah. And
he was kind of responsible for a lot of things that happened.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because like right away from the beginning with him joining the Uprising, he was like, okay, I'm going to do my own thing because they got back from the first mission and everyone's like, oh, where'd he go? What's he doing? This is all his fault.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he had stayed behind to make sure that everyone got out. And eventually he shows up
before he needle casts back, and everyone's starting to turn against themselves and like, hey, you didn't like him and all this other shit.
Right. Like we don't know what went wrong.
Right.
But they like the way they were making it sound was like he was responsible for something happening and he was staying behind because he was betraying them.
Right. Everyone is afraid of that.
Right.
And you can see that their bond is much more about themselves, the siblings, than being a part of the envoys.
Right. Well, especially with the sister.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, back again during that training scene earlier.
In the beginning, it's like that.
Yeah. You know, when Quell is beating the crap out of Takeshi and the other random ginger dude, you know, she pulls her gun to shoot
to try to make sure, you know.
Yeah. And Quell just like shoots it right out of her hand.
Yeah.
Like,
I like your reasoning for it, but you were too slow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be quicker.
And that all kind of comes into play towards the end of the episode too.
It does. You can see the animosity, and that's what I think the love scene was really good for. It was another instance of this animosity that someone's getting close to her brother.
Yeah, something that I found interesting. I don't know if you guys really paid attention to this, but after that scene, after Takeshi had woken up in the morning, he starts writing in a journal.
Yeah, I did see that, and I thought like it looked like he wasn't writing his own thing. It looked like he was completing a poem or something.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff there. I think there's an image of it that we have in there, but he was writing something. There it is. He's writing our bodies.
Twined like tree roots, tearing stone. Voiceless. What? Cries to a blind sky.
Yeah.
See, but if you look,
isn't that the journal that Bancroft had?
Yes, that he threw.
That is the journal that Bancroft had,
and
which is why I was like, this is really interesting.
Yeah. And if you look on that picture, if you saw that picture, it was two different sets of handwriting. I believe the first half was probably Quell's, and the second half was obviously. So it was interesting that they were going through it. At least that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, on the left and on the left and the right, there's things that looks like it's scribbled out.
Yeah, up to down. That's what it looks like. So if you look our bodies, you know, twined, and then you look down where he's like heard only by. It kind of looks, you know, so maybe they're on that like emotional and mental connection where they're like, you know, completing each other's sentences and shit.
Right.
We're soulmates. Where she says she always looks in that journal, you know. She looks at that every day, so he wants to be connected to her like a tree.
Right.
Like the song spire, you know, like growing into everything.
They're intertwined like tree roots. And I make weird arm thingies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it for episode 7? No, there's more, right?
Well, no. I mean, there was a big thing at the end.
Oh, the bombing.
No. Like, so after, because this whole thing happens with when, you know, it's all flashbacks while Ray is, you know, taking care of Takeshi in Riker's sleeve, and he wakes up, you know, while she's taking care of him, and she's about to kill his sleeve so that she can put him into another body, and he's like, no, do not do this.
Which I'm surprised she listened to.
Yeah, this sleeve has to survive.
Yeah, right here we have pictures. She's like, why? You've been in a million other sleeves. What's the deal?
Right.
And he really adamantly, he absolutely has no explanation, but he's just like, trust me, we have to save
especially since she knows who the sleeve is. And
right.
that means
well, we don't know that yet.
No, but that's
right.
Probably,
Now
that
we know
would be
the
a reason for
background
her
for that.
to kill the sleeve. So it's very interesting that she didn't.
Right, and what's
that closeness, that brother sister? She's like,
well, there's that, and now we're getting to the same deal again that we had between him and her, and him and Quell, with him and her, and him and Ortega.
Yes.
I don't know if that's jealousy in the sense that you guys are kind of making it out to be.
I don't know that's jealousy. I think it's more of a us versus them type of a thing.
Right, his
that's what I
judgment
think.
is being clouded.
Yeah, you know,
or she thinks that he's doing the wrong things,
right?
And
that reasons.
Right.
And I think that it's just, you know, family. She's just like, no one comes between us. I don't think it's a jealousy. It's just not like she wants him, but
right.
Like,
it's
you're
more, taking
him away from me.
Yeah. It's more we're the most important things. We're all that matters.
Yeah.
I've spent the last 250 years or whatever
by myself.
Stacking
But,
checks.
by myself, doing all this, building everything that you see here around you,
Right.
and you're gonna go and do the same shit again.
Right, predictable. I mean, but to be fair, he's been asleep for however long. And,
Yeah.
We find out that his sister Ray has not only accumulated a vast amount of wealth, she has accumulated a vast amount of sleeves and a vast amount of clones.
Right, and we see this like we see kind of him towards the end, like he when when he finally recovers, he gets up and he's walking around and like he's like putting like pieces together.
There's a lot of like usual suspect montage moments.
Yeah. like here at the end,
moments.
like right before this picture popped up, we had the flashback to the ship exploding that had Ray and Quell on it that he thought was what caused them both to die.
Super powerful scene.
And
they should have died.
And they should have died. And then after that, we see this, and he's like looking around. He sees all these clones in the background. He sees what she's in, and he's like thinking to himself. He's like, "Wait, how is she alive? I saw her explode."
And why does she remember what happened to Quell? Because she survived.
Right.
So why did she survive and Quell didn't?
And the episode ends with him realizing she did. Oh,
Yeah.
here we go.
So here we go. Yeah.
And Tack's in his original skin. Which
Yeah.
is
So
always nice
here,
to see.
he's running through after everyone else has died, and he's looking up and he sees the ship taking
Everyone's
off.
like, "Yay,
He's
they
like,
made it!"
he sacrificed
Yeah.
himself to get out, and that was great. And now it's just kaboom.
Yeah.
It's like totally fucked up.
There goes boom. And then right after this, well, not right after this, but after that other like flash forward where we see him in the present, and
In Riker's skin, yeah.
in Riker's skin, and he's realizing everything that's going on. He flashes back again, and we see what actually happened inside the ship.
Flashback overload.
Yeah, it's like a fourth wall break inside of a fourth wall break.
Right. But we see that Ray actually betrayed everyone.
Yeah, she really.
And she was like, I guess she. This wasn't really clear, but it seems like she went to the Protectorate and was like, "Hey, I'll give you all of these people if you make sure that me and Tack survive."
Right. And I agree. And I also think, oh, here we go.
And there she is with that face tattoo and whatever that cybernetic implant.
It looks just like a microphone. She's like,
it might be what that is.
later, bitches.
Yeah.
Boom. Tack.
Yeah, because at first I was like, where did that laser beam thing come from? Like, I was like, wait, what? Was there a ship?
I honestly
Star Trek?
just thought they knew where that damn they
Right,
were
they were
waiting
able to
for
track
someone
it.
to try to launch,
Right.
and I was like, okay, that makes sense,
Right. And but like also, we were told, Tack was told that the reason that they weren't infected was because they were out of range. But that's not the reason.
That's not the reason at all.
They just weren't attacked.
But I wonder why Quell wasn't affected. If you could sit there and pinpoint who got the virus and who didn't, I wonder why. Maybe because Quell and Tack were so close in proximity, she didn't want.
I think it's
Quell
one.
to hurt.
It could be that, or it could also be one of those convoluted. We have to do it this way so that it makes it look like something else was going on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll buy that theory. I'm into it. And then, God, what was I gonna say? I had something for this. Yeah, old-timers is fun. I get to meet new people every day.
Oh God.
But
yeah, that was pretty much the end of 7.
That definitely was the end of 7. What I was gonna say is that the way we figure it out is that she was backed up at the last minute, and that's why she doesn't remember everything, and obviously was given a big chunk.
Well, she was backed up before any of this happened.
Right, slightly before, and then what I thought was interesting at that point was you had Jaeger again, our arch nemesis for Tack. I'm assuming, wanting him alive.
Yeah.
He constantly throughout the series is like, we want him alive, we want him alive. Now, is it to the point where it was like, just because he's so valuable, because he was former SeaTac, now he's an envoy, or is it maybe that his sister Ray made a deal? Like, I'll give you all these things.
I mean, it might be a combination of both.
Right?
Kind of thing. Like, he wants to kill him himself, and he wants him to know it.
Right. Yeah, Tack betrayed Jaeger, so he's probably like, no, I want to make this guy suffer.
Yeah.
Jaeger also betrayed Tack. So, I mean, you got a lot of that going on. But it adds another potential question.
But, if you're the guy that betrayed someone else, does the fact that you betrayed them really matter to you?
I don't know. When you live forever, I mean, you're eventually going to screw everyone over.
Right.
At some point, and you're just like, all right.
But like, let's say you betray me somehow, and then I betray you. Are you going to
Spoiler alert, I have betrayed him. He doesn't know it yet, though. Shh.
Are you going to care that you betrayed me?
That's a good point.
Like, are you going to be like, well, I betrayed you first, so all right, we're all friends now.
Even Steven, we'll just wipe that word clean. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Because, you know, people who do that kind of shit, they're
Yeah, I
it
mean,
doesn't matter to them.
They don't care. They
That's
don't
good.
care.
All right, so yeah, that was it. That was
So then
7.
he finds out that Ray's like
The big
up.
bad.
Yeah. Which I didn't see coming either. Usually I don't watch things though trying to solve the mystery. Like if I guess
you're
it.
such a better viewer than me.
Well, it's
oh
just
my
it
God.
takes the fun out of it if you just watch something like, okay, there's a mystery, I want to solve it. Da 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 da. I think that takes a lot of the enjoyment out of something.
It depends on what
definitely does.
it depends on what it is.
If it's Sherlock Holmes, obviously you want to go along with it.
But shows like this where it's like, okay, the mystery is part of the, you know, like you know that things are going to be revealed throughout the course of it.
Right.
That's a little bit different than like an ongoing like Lost, where you're like, okay, what does this mean? How is this going to come back?
Right. Right.
But like, I guess that's like episode 8 too. But like, we were wondering why that telescope thing happened and what that meant. So maybe if I had kind of paid attention a little bit more, I could have read into that. I was like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm
Dude, killing me, Tony Sanchez. I was worried that this show is. I hope the show doesn't go in that direction.
I didn't mean it
I don't
like
think
that.
it's going
just meant
to.
like
but
in a possessive way. No,
that's what I think.
No
but
thirsty Jamie kind of business.
what about not I want to say School Ties, but that wasn't it. With Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Cruel Intentions.
Cruel Intentions.
Well, there were stepbrother and stepsister. So
no blood, so
technically-
you're fair game in that point.
Technically. And it didn't
You have
go
my
together.
blessing if Sarah Michelle Gellar is your stepsister, please, by all means.
But then in Not Another Teen Movie, they were, you know, they actually were related. So.
Oh my god.
Mia Kirshner and
Y'all nasty, okay?
Jake Weiler.
Look what Game of Thrones did to everybody. Now they think every brother and sister want to bang.
Stepbrother, stepsister. It's legit. I mean,
But Ray and Tuck are related.
they are
Yeah,
blood
yeah,
related.
they
So
are.
yeah, that's
A little
different.
bit- little
That's
bit
different.
But like episode 8 pretty much picks up right where 7 left off.
Right.
With them like right there inside of I guess it's her apartment. Or her business office, whatever. It is.
She's got a lot of swords and shit.
her facility. Let's go with facility.
Okay.
Because this is also like right away, you know, Takeshi's looking around and he sees the clones. And
he sees the other sleeves. He only sees.
Oh yeah,
he
sorry,
doesn't see
not
any
the clones.
at this
It's the other sleeves.
Right.
But he sees.
I've been following him throughout the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sees the little girl that he first ran into in the museum. He sees
The Ghost Walker dude.
Well, the Ghost Walker dude wasn't one of the sleeves though.
No.
Oh, wasn't like an Asian man or something?
Yeah, but he wasn't her. Like that's not. That wasn't.
Yeah,
him.
he was there. He like the Asian guy is someone that actually
That's her
works
bitch.
for her. Yeah,
That's her little like errand bitch.
Yeah, no, but we saw the woman from the party.
Yeah, with the snake.
Bancroft-
That put the
stack
sleeve in the
snake.
snake. Oh, stack. Thank you. Black.
Then we also see the black guy, who is the guy who with the Tanaka.
There's her infant girl sleeve or toddler.
Yeah, but see, this
That's at the end of it.
I
don't know. I don't have babies. I don't do
like
babies.
A 10-year-old girl.
You know
yeah,
what?
I'm not sure.
She's
what's
not
going on with
18.
this.
I don't care.
Yeah, you should see an image where it's a bunch of like
toddler.
they look like cryogenic babies.
Can't
Go to
vote.
school trips and
She can't vote. She can't
full
drive.
sentences.
Like, come on. What you got?
But,
I mean,
okay, so there's a question for you. Like in this society, you know, like since you could be like 80 and be in the body of a 7-year-old, how does age like quantify anything?
that's a good point.
But yeah, so here you've got
There it is.
But then you've got this guy over towards the right who he's I don't remember his name. I don't know if we ever got his
I think
name.
we have it. I can't remember it. To save my
Jeremy
life.
Jones, we'll call him.
Oh God. All right.
But no, he's the one that was I guess blackmailing Tanaka.
Oh.
Yeah, the police guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I hate that guy.
Well, I don't think anyone really likes that guy.
It's like the typical
Typical
lieutenant
corrupt cop.
captain. Yeah.
He's like,
ooh.
listen, if you take me down, I'm going to take you down with me, and blah blah blah, whatever.
Very
whatever.
just.
Did we
cookie-cutter.
touch? Did Ortega appear at all in episode 7?
No.
I don't
It's
think
just
so.
straight-
No.
Okay.
This was an
Who annoys
origin
me,
story.
by the way. She's getting on my nerves.
Yeah, her character is kind of like sometimes I like her, sometimes I don't.
Yeah, it's just
I
like
think
a
that's
little
the
too much. It's not really like developing
Right.
at all.
Yeah, I would say that's fairly true.
So the
Hemingway. Okay, so the black guy's name is Hemingway.
Okay.
If that matters to anyone.
I mean, if we're in a trivia game,
I'm in.
we might need to know
Hemingway
that.
and Poe. I got it.
Oh,
I'm seeing it go
the
down.
literary, yeah, isn't there somebody else? Kind of a famous. What's that lawyer's name again? Parker?
Prescott.
Oh, Prescott. Okay.
But
Back on track.
Yeah. But like, this is all interesting to me because that means that Dimitri was working for her.
Yeah.
So, in that second episode or the end of the first episode or whatever it was, when Dimitri clone number 1 or Dimitri sleeve number 1 attacked him, was he working for her at that? Like, I don't understand why.
No, I think he was, but I think the misunderstanding was maybe that it was still Riker somehow. No.
Yeah,
because the reason Riker is down is because of Rey.
Yeah.
We find out basically episode 8, Rey is behind all the shit.
Right.
Everything before the show, during the show, and now probably after the show.
It's super, like, her... I'm not exactly sure what her end game is.
Right.
Like, I don't know...
Just to reunite with her brother? Like,
I'm
that's
here.
pretty empty.
But this seems like a lot of work to go through just to get her brother back. Because she does state in this episode that she needed to find someone that had enough influence to be able to get her brother out.
Right. Which was Bancroft.
Seems like she had quite a bit of influence on her own.
I agree. And I feel like a lot of it is just this power trip. I've been alive for 300 some years, I'm sure. I'm here to fuck shit up. I've accumulated all this by being... We find out, essentially, that the torture room that we had tack in... Way Clinic was owned and operated by her.
Right.
And she was like... I didn't know. Well, the only reason you didn't know is because maybe you thought that it was still Riker.
Because you're torturing so many people.
Well, Walmart doesn't know that you're buying everything there. You got a lot of customers. They're working on it. That's true. But so they didn't really know or understand. So
this is way off track. But Amazon has a store that they're opening. It's a brick and mortar store where you don't pay for it. Like you don't have to go through a register. You just like put all your shit in a bag.
Yeah.
And walk out of the store.
Yeah.
It scans it. And it checks it out on your account. So they know what you're buying.
They know what you're buying. They know who you are. But now my question is, what if I don't walk in there with my phone?
Your Amazon account.
Yeah, you have to like check in to go in. You have to check in.
So I can't just like hop a
Tony
gate.
has a question.
All right.
After tack, right?
You can go either way.
Is released, why doesn't Rey grab him and run off if she's as rich as God and has the resources to disappear?
That's the big question. Is I think the misunderstanding is that she doesn't know that it's tack yet. That maybe her information's maybe a little slow.
Him to make sure it wasn't totally
Riker. Yeah, and she had to she assigned the hit on him, because it's like, hey, I killed you once, I'm gonna do it again.
And that's what I'm saying. Like everything that's happened. Like maybe in the next 2 episodes we'll get a little bit more explanation. I don't know. I think Tony's seen the next 2, so maybe she
no
she
spoilers.
Knows.
No spoilers for us.
It was so hard to stop after episode 8.
I agree. But like it just seems like everything that Rey has done has just been like so convoluted.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much that's going into everything, and I'm like, there has to be some sort of other end game here.
True. And the end game for this episode for me is summed up in 2 words: naked sword fight. We're in.
Right?
That was so
It was so unnecessary, but damn it, I loved every second of it.
It was
Good
so
job.
Bizarre. I mean, we might as well talk about that now because it doesn't really matter. Since we're kind of jumping around. But that scene, like with Ortega, like after she finally like figures out what's going on and she tracks this place down.
It's a vault.
It's a vault where all of her clones are.
But it's not registered to her or anyone.
Right. So Ortega comes across it. She finds it, and
she blackmails the guard to let her in.
Right.
And then locks her in there.
And then the guard locks her in.
Which,
I mean, kind of means that he's not going to get whatever she promised him in return for letting him in there.
Right. I mean, she's probably just going to make his life hell at this point.
Right, it's bullshit.
But so now there's this big fight scene. Rey grabs one of the swords off the wall. Ortega keeps shooting her clones, and they keep dying. And at one point,
I have questions about that too.
Rey looks over at her, and she's like, "Do you know how much money you just cost me?"
True story.
And then that clone dies, and then there's just more fighting, more naked Rey running around.
She just starts popping them before they even get out of the pods.
Yeah, they just keep getting out of the pods, and like she's shooting. Like at some point, wouldn't Rey have been like, "Okay, maybe I should just stay in the pod and needle into a different body someplace else"?
Which was obviously happens at the very end of the episode where she's the little girl cowered in the corner and she's
You think that's who she was?
Oh, I was totally the same little girl. But my question is Rey is an envoy. She was a good envoy. We saw what a good envoy can do against the gun.
She obviously is like not out of her mind here, but she's kind of flipped a little bit.
Yeah, but
like there's something going on like.
But then we had the moment with the sword fight in episode 6 where she's just a complete friggin' badass, and she has no problem taking out a gazillion different people. This one.
But does that speak to how many times you are cloned? Like, if you start to lose little pieces.
No,
only if it's not clones, it's sleeves. But apparently also the envoys are immune to that because they've taught themselves how to not
acclimate.
How to acclimate.
But a clone is an exact copy. There are no side effects to needle casting or transferring into a clone.
Right. But then,
which is the same thing.
Not only that, the gun doesn't hold that many bullets. It's just like
this is the future.
It's a future gun. We don't know how big the bullets are. Maybe that holds.
This may not be California, where a 10. This is not a 10 clip or 10 bullet magazine. You know, we're thinking we're good here.
My favorite part of this whole fight scene, though, outside of the "Do you know how much money you just cost me?"
That was good. I did enjoy that.
Was where the one clone. The final clone like gets up and starts running towards her, and then she just like uses her brand new arm and just like punches it. And you see it like collapse and out the back.
Which is another cheap plot device. It's her magical super duper arm. Like, what is she, Misty Knight?
Not really though, because we saw in episode 4.
No, I
3 or 4. You know, we see a lot of body augmentation.
Oh yeah,
that makes her like almost immune, because like this whole scene was
it's
kind
just
of
one
BS.
arm. It's just one arm.
But look what she did with that one arm. What? Instead of her getting murked like she should have, now she's like, oh, I got super arm to get me out of this situation.
I mean, she also broke Tanaka's back with that arm too.
Right. They have a term for that, which I forgot, a film term. I forgot what it is, but it's just like something that gets you out of like impossible situation. Huh?
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, Deus Ex Machina.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit different than that though, because like a Deus Ex Machina would be like if at the end of this series.
You guys just said it. She shouldn't have won that fight.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that, but I'm not going to say because of her mechanical arm.
Yeah. I don't think it's because of the mechanical arm.
I mean, I appreciate a good tiger uppercut them as much as the next guy, you know? Like, you know.
Street Fighter. Oh,
that's it, dude. You know, so I'm all about that life.
So Daniel is asking about the fight choreography. He's saying how much better it was than Iron Fist.
I mean, a lot of things were better than Iron Fist. They should be ashamed of themselves.
I think I could probably choreograph a fight that's better than Iron Fist, and I only took karate for like 3 weeks when I was 12.
Oh my God.
I think he's an envoy.
I want to see
I think this guy's going to be an envoy.
I want to see lessons with Joshua. You'll be like that guy from Napoleon Dynamite with the pants.
Got nunchuck skills.
Yeah.
Got drawing skills.
Yes.
Rex Kwon. Killing me.
There was a question here.
There was a question?
Daniel says, how did Ortega find out the little girl was Tok's sister too? They just made us aware that she was aware in a throwaway line in the hotel after.
I don't think she's aware that the little girl, because she goes and it's like, don't be afraid, it's okay, you know, because the little girl sells it like, oh, I've been prisoner here, I don't know where I am, help me. So I don't think she knows, and I think that's really, I think.
But
she might,
what was that? That wasn't the girl from the museum, right?
I don't know.
Because
this was the little girl from the museum, yeah.
But this is the girl that was in the facility where Takeshi was.
Yeah,
at the very beginning.
But I think it's still Rey. I'm fairly certain.
Do you think she has
Rey.
a clone of the other sleeves too?
I don't think so, because we never seen this. We never seen this clone die. So
sleeve.
Right.
Yeah.
But the sleeve was like locked in a room at the facility. I'm totally behind it possibly being Rey that
right, because there's a door right there. Obviously, so she could have snuck in at any point during this whole fight.
She's been needle casting into all these different clones. There's no way she couldn't be able to do it.
Right. I'm just curious about where it came from, if it was in the other building.
It could have been, she could have gotten there in that sleeve and then just needle cast it into one of her normal bodies.
That's a good point.
And she has access to her own vault. Question we hopefully will get the answer to. I'm sure we will next episode.
Tony says, this looks like a panel with Lex Luthor, Tony Stark, and Mary Jane Watson.
Shit.
Thank you, Tony.
Damn, Tony Stark, I'm feeling it, dude.
I know, right?
I am Iron
The
Man.
face of
I need my Legion.
I was really just kind of hoping for someone to catch and love my Bender and Rick, or whoops.
Hey guys,
Bender and Rick.
I think it's time for a league of our own.
Ooh, there's no
Let's make
crying
a
in
league of our
baseball.
own.
There's no crying in baseball.
So I watched Justice League again the other night.
Well, yeah.
Was it
And
any
just-
good?
I
Help
watched
me,
it. I
help
watched
me.
it 3 times in a theater.
So this is way off topic. I liked it better than I did when I saw it in the movie theater. I don't think it's as bad as I originally thought it was. The CGI still, like, not great.
Of course.
But still, that line at the end when Deathstroke comes on and fucking Mr. Facebook there is just like, I think we need a league of our own. I'm like,
Well, you
go
didn't
fuck
quite
yourself.
say it like that.
But that's what
Doesn't
he said.
really help. Doesn't really help. It's content.
He said, I think it's time we created a league of our
He
own.
should have re-sleeved into Bryan Cranston.
Mustache. Oh, mustache gate. I'm in.
Lex Luthor needs a sleeve.
Yeah, right?
Oh God.
So
You
Well,
okay? Are
yeah.
you having bad flashbacks?
Dude,
Just-
yeah,
just-
Look what you did, Tony.
Oh my
Stop
God.
it.
just the DC universe in
This
general
has
right
nothing
now.
to do with anything right now.
It does not.
I know.
It does not.
It does not. Get that mustache face out of here.
I'm gonna have nightmares. All right, back.
Where were we on episode
Back to Altered
8?
Carbon.
Oh my God. We finished.
Well, we kind of talked about the end when with
Naked sword fight.
the naked
Yep,
sword
yep,
fight. But let's go back to Ortega running into Takashi when he's finding Ava.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I don't
Guys,
like.
I mean,
I don't
like-
like these romantic side plots that are so unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, just that whole thing was just like super shitty. Because
Weird.
but before we got here, Ortega was like giving Tanaka the business at the
Scary.
the police station, and
Don't get
she was
old.
yelling at him because there was no missing persons file
Yeah.
open for Takeshi, and then he pops back up on the radar. She finds him here, and then Ray's like, "Oh, you better get rid of her. If you don't get rid of her, more people are gonna die."
Ray didn't directly say that. Her little bitch dog did.
Yeah, the ghost dude, ghost
Yeah.
walker guy, or
Ghost
whatever.
dude. Ghost dad.
But still, this is all
There's
coming.
another terrible
it's all
superhero
coming
movie. Ghost Rider.
So he goes off, and in typical stupid movie fashion, he's like, "Just go away, get out of here. We don't want you here anymore."
I hate you. This meant nothing to me.
Like it was
Which
just,
I'm used to saying that to women, but it never really carries that much weight either.
See, I'm just having that said to me.
Oh my God. I'm not in love with you.
But usually it's the cashier at Ralph, so it's kind of
Ooh,
weird.
It's kind of awkward.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah. You wake up next to the hotel maid and you're like, I don't really know what happened.
This is like the type of scenes that where it's like, okay, this show is just like going down in quality. This is
Yeah,
like-
right. It's where, like, I kind of feel like they
too.
needed, well, we don't want you to find out where we are. Mm-hmm. Like, really?
Yeah.
So here, put this sack over your head.
This-
Like, let me go ahead and just do that.
Going back to
know.
referencing DC again, it's like when Lois Lane found who the fuck Clark was by showing people a picture. And then the military couldn't find him at the end. This guy is a fucking envoy. If he wants to find out where they are, he'll find out where they are.
Yeah, let's
Hopefully.
just not have her around. Just keep looking for him for the next 3
They
episodes.
should have just drugged him up and dumped him in a gutter. I mean, that would have been more believable.
That sounds
Yeah.
date rapey.
Now that's
But-
what I'm used to my dates ending like.
But I mean,
Lots of bars and tones.
all of this was going into like the needing to get Bancroft like out of the picture completely too, because they were taking Takeshi to
Right.
get Ava out of stasis or whatever it was that she was being held in, so that
As
she
a
could
dipper.
so that she could help
Yeah,
Vernon with all of his shit. So yeah, so
I didn't
like
get what this dipper thing was.
I
Just
don't-
a hacker?
yeah,
Is
so
that
Essentially.
so what
now?
we're looking at here is the the big Sherlock Holmes reveal. Be like, all right, so this is what really happened.
Yeah, Colonel Mustard did this shit with the lead pipe
Yeah.
in the laboratory.
So they pull Ava out of stasis. They put her into this body of this junky looking dude, and they reunite her with Vernon, him with Vernon, whatever. You know, there's that
The
whole
most
thing,
boring
just, like
B-plot
super awkward.
I've seen in
Uh,
recent history.
But I think it was an important moment because her and Vernon and Ava go into Lizzie's
right,
loop or whatever.
Yeah, so he
There
finally figures out what.
By the way, that was one of the most hilarious
They should have made out.
things. I was really hoping they were going to.
Right?
Again,
I mean, just like when he pushed him away, he was like, "Are you drunk, bro?"
yeah, I was like, you know, and it's funny because then you have that reaction instant, and it's guttural, and it's very understandable.
Where Vernon does not recognize who this person is. It's just some random white ginger dude that's coming up to him.
But Lizzie instantly recognizes.
Yes, as soon as they boot into the VR.
Yeah.
And that's something to speak of with Ray.
Yeah, that would be my face.
Too.
That would be my face if someone approached me that way.
Right?
Yo, what's up?
What's up?
Maybe if Josh did that.
I mean, that's what
I want Josh to do it so I can kiss him on his beautiful head.
That's what, like, Vernon's face right there, that's what everyone looks like when I come up and start talking to them.
That's how Vernon looks like all the time. But listen, like, Takeshi never recognized Ray in any of these sleeves. So really, how great is their connection?
It's one
Whereas
of those...
Lizzie noticed Ava right away in the new sleeve.
So again, it's asking a question but not giving the answer, and you don't know how it all is going to play out. So it's super interesting to see. Is there some kind of X factor that maybe Ray has accumulated over time to kind of be able to just really be in the distance in the background and more envoy than her brother at this point? Although the sword fight at the end kind of negates that argument.
Right, unless something else was going on there.
Anyway, we're getting back from the naked sword fight. You're right.
I don't know. So all of that though, that was just in service of getting Ava's abilities to help sell this entire plot to Bancroft, where they're framing Prescott for killing him, and like.
But are they really? Dun,
right?
Dun, dun.
That's why, like, I'm so confused with what actually happened.
The Dr. Evil pinky in the mouth that killed me.
First of all, I want to know like where and when and how long it took Kovacs to actually come up with this idea.
God, I love this.
Like, did he have like a little mini map in his journal where he's like, okay, well, if we tell Bancroft that this happened, then this happened, and then this happened.
A Venn diagram.
Then, like it's just like.
It was probably right after the ultimatum.
It was beautifully done, and the way, I felt so. I know it's scripted.
Is it something that Ray had? Was Ray like, here's what you're going to tell Bancroft, and here's how you're going to do it?
No, because she was like, you need to come up with a way to
I think this was
close
very
this case, like now.
Yeah.
Or this is going to happen to Ortega. And he came up with this so quickly, I don't think he even knew why until he had that little, like, dark passenger moment with Kel and was like, you deduced this from the truth, like I taught you.
Yeah.
You weaved
but I still
tore the truth apart.
But I still don't know what the truth is. We've got the video, which
we were trying to figure this out.
We'll pull this up here. But yeah, like it's just so bizarre because like right before to kind of cue this up, where the video starts, he said, well, I know exactly when and where and what time Bancroft died, and we can reset the telescope to the same place.
The telescope automatically resets.
Yeah. They were like, we can put the telescope back to where it was at that point in time, and we can see what happens. And then he looks through it, and he sees the place in the clouds.
Yeah. What was it had a marquee going around. It was here's a video. Here's a video.
I don't
We're gonna see it.
But yeah, so this is kind of long. But yeah, so here he is. He's
maybe
resetting
the audience can help us figure out what
there's no audio here, unfortunately.
But no, it has the marquee going around. You can read it.
Now my theory was maybe Bancroft is Prescott. Huh? Sleeves?
Or they're all Ray? Like maybe everyone on the planet is Ray now?
That would be stupid.
I know, but yeah, so this goes back to Poe. He showed him, so we know Poe is somehow involved in this.
Potentially, yeah.
No, is he involved or what he just said? I think it was what he said. Is what
maybe?
Because Poe's just an AI, and he can't leave the hotel.
He can't, but he might own that place. Like, he might be in charge of that place.
I don't know. He seemed like he was only connected to the
And it
hotel.
sounds like Ray owns that place. Because again, it's Sin in the Clouds, so it's one of those.
And I'm assuming that that's where Henchy fell from.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's very fair. And we find out that this theory that he weaved was really good, and it just sounded so believable that They kick Prescott out.
Right.
She loses literally everything.
Right. I thought that was great though, where Bancroft was like, "Okay, I'm not going to press charges. I'm going to ruin you."
God, that was that.
You like yeah.
Sadist.
Yeah, he was like, "You want so badly to be up here with
Aren't we
us,
all?
but you're just a
I know,
fucking
Josh
grounder. I'm going to make sure that you never leave the ground again."
Don't say donate.
You just said it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not an issue on this channel right now anyway, so we're good.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was good. Atlantic City.
So what are people saying?
So you're right. It is kind of a mystery. We don't really know what the Sin, center is. You know what? I haven't been to
I don't know
Atlantic
what
City.
that all
I haven't
meant.
been to Atlantic City.
Atlantic City's in Jersey, so
but I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think there's that many morals.
Everyone,
again,
relax.
it's in
Atlantic
Jersey.
City used to be the
I've
party
seen
town.
Jersey Shore. I know what people in Jersey
That's not
are like.
Atlantic City. That's Seaside Heights, and those are New Yorkers.
Same difference. Jersey is the
I'm
armpit of America for a reason.
You're the armpit of the world.
Reno in the
I mean,
All right, Florida.
You know what? Reno.
Hey,
That's
ooh,
Hey,
whoa,
I only lived in that
Trash.
plastic dick for a few years. I moved there from next to Jersey.
PA.
Club.
I was in Philly.
Debauchery.
Well, outside
Yeah,
of
I
Philly.
agree. I agree. That's very much what it is. It's fulfilling the sinful and the lust and all that other shit for the people who can afford some ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Was
And
meth
so
like a shortened term for something longer?
it is. And
It is. I don't
I
remember what it
forget
was.
at this point. Whoa, we know how she spends her weekends. I cannot remember to save my life. I thought we were recording.
But yeah, I mean, so this is just weird stuff in this episode.
There is a lot going on, and it's just so much, and it's none of it is clean and crisp, and it's all just like tomfuckery.
How
The only thing we
was
know at the end of 8 that I understand.
Methuselah.
Methuselah.
Methuselah is from the Bible.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Oh, and the only thing we know for sure, I believe, at this episode is Ray is responsible for this entire thing.
You're right, but I mean, there's still so many questions at,
There
the, end,
are.
at the end of this. Like,
What really happened to Bancroft still?
yeah,
Because
still
that's
what
not
really
the end
happened
of
to
the
Bancroft?
story.
What's Miriam trying to do? Because we know that she's still.
Yeah, she being
Up
a
to
freak in the
something.
sheets.
God bless her.
But she's also like all about just getting this case closed. Like it seems like she doesn't really care.
Nobody
what
wants
happened
this
to him.
case open except Bancroft, which obviously you can understand.
Right.
why.
Because he's being like more aggressive.
But is he
because
gonna
it's
get?
happened to him.
Is he gonna get the pardon that he wants? Is Tack gonna get the pardon
Well,
that
he
he
got
wants?
it.
I think he
Well,
wants
it hasn't
to
been
die.
given yet. He's making arrangements. Is there?
No.
there's gotta-
At the very end of the episode, he gets it.
Ooh, all right.
I
But
think, right?
I don't think so. I think he says we're making arrangements to do that.
Yeah.
So there's
He's
got
like,
to
give
be.
me my pardon now or something.
Yeah, he's like, give it to me, give it to me.
Oh, right.
But I don't think it's actually been received.
But
And-
isn't that like when he's waiting and he goes back into that room? Isn't that what Bancroft was doing? Wasn't Bancroft going off to get his?
I think that's what it was. But it's again with people like Bancroft and now we know Ray. They have so much money and so much influence. Does that really? Does
whether
any of
he's-
that mean anything?
No, because I don't think he's just gonna go off, take the pardon, and live happily ever after.
The
Right,
show would
right,
really,
right.
really suck if it did that, and it hasn't disappointed yet.
I don't know if it really sucked because like his life sucks. Like Takeshi was just dealt the wrong hand from the beginning.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
Bad
life
man.
sucks, and this is just a good true show of if you had immortal life, it would immortally suck, eternally suck.
Yeah.
If you're not the one doing the squishing, you are the one getting squished on, honey.
What was it?
Squished
The golden rule.
on.
And he who has the gold makes the rules.
There we go. That's perfect. It is true.
That's pretty much what's going on here.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be squished on though?
You know
But
what?
yeah, so I mean, I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes because I really want to know what's going on. We know.
I want them to kill the system.
I mean, how much do you guys know about the Altered Carbon series? Because it's based on a book.
I was
don't.
gonna say the one we were just watching.
So
I got nothing.
mild spoiler alert, I guess. The next book in the series takes place 30 years in the future.
Okay.
Okay.
So we know by the end of episode 10, like this whole plot is going to be resolved.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It has.
Is it so? There's no open-ended, like no an open ending for season
I've-
2.
No. There's an open end for season 2, but because of the way the end of this first book wraps up,
It's pretty clean and tidy.
it should be pretty clean and tidy.
Because the whole Bancroft thing.
Yeah, because
you
the
can't spend
series
3 seasons on one case.
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil myself with like reading like all the the liner notes for all the books and everything. But
Spoil himself with reading, folks.
right,
Reading.
But as far as I know, the next book takes place somewhere 30 years in the future, but it's still following Takeshi. So like I think the book series is just following him, but not necessarily from
this is an
storyline
arc
to immediate
essentially. This is
storyline.
an arc essentially, and we will. Season 2 is its own arc.
Right. But we don't know how closely the series is going to follow the books. So the series could go in a completely different route, write an entirely new story for season 2.
Right.
That takes place in the same time frame.
Or
It's
close.
almost like
Or close to
another
it.
anthology.
Yeah. Which I'm okay with.
So we also figured out in 8 that there was a virus that was designed to be
Right. Oh, yeah.
It
So
was kind of a big deal. That was the whole kind of point and final solution for the revolution for the envoys.
right. That was
Stop
Quell's
the portal,
entire
yeah.
plan was to insert this virus into everyone, right?
Yeah.
So they only live like 100 years and that's it?
Yeah, just
Right.
100-year
Forever.
max, which I still can't.
It's still a long time.
It's still a long friggin' time,
Yeah, but
man.
people live to 108 these days. So.
You know what?
Not
And
that
that sounds
far.
like a terrible friggin' plan to me. Have you seen
Right.
anyone who's made it past 80? It just doesn't seem like a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I
Betty
think.
White, Stanley.
I personally think a better option would have
I'm
been
still
to,
going with it.
to modify the sacks just so that people couldn't needle out of them. Because then they would just live as long as their host body could.
But no, it's a virus that attaches to the DHF.
Oh, right.
To the
right,
data
right.
itself. So the data gets corrupted after
Yeah.
100 years. So then
So this scene was kind of great too because this guy was just kind of a dick, and you see Poe's like, "Yep, fuck you."
Fuck you AI, fuck you AI. I've done diseased you all. Much like I
Yeah.
imagine would happen if I visited Atlantic
But-
Hey, how
City.
did I miss this scene?
But
Yeah, how
this,
did you miss this?
So
It's an
that
important
was
scene.
that was just playing into the whole Bancroft thing because he needed that guy to die to make it seem like Prescott had put this virus into Bancroft in order to kill him.
Yeah, I think that's true.
But that's the malware or the virus or whatever that killed all the envoys originally too.
Well, it's something similar. I don't know if it's the exact same.
No, it is.
Or
Because,
it says the same thing?
because
Okay.
Takeshi brought back all of the envoy stacks and gave those to Vernon and Ava, and we're like, all right, I need you to extract this malware so we can give it to this.
Oh my god, how did I miss that?
I don't know.
Oh my god. I watched it late last night and apparently fell asleep. I dozed off.
Yeah.
Who
So
knew?
I'm
embarrassed.
It's okay.
curious.
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 All right. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Curiosity killed.
The cats.
Curiosity
Cats.
made him go
The
bald.
cats.
Yeah. So what are you guys expecting? What do you think is going to happen at the end here? What are your crackpot
Because
theories?
she's gonna die for all of humanity.
God,
I
I
don't
hope.
know. Clone-manity.
This is one of those series where I hope everyone dies.
I'm missing.
I think everyone's die. I think Ray's gonna die.
I can't.
I mean, she kind of has to.
She kind of has to. She's really popped up as the antagonist here.
So he's
Yeah.
gonna shoot her stack out. Okay.
No, I don't think
Cliche
she's.
thing.
I really hope he doesn't shoot her.
I don't know because
Gonna do it.
we know that she can do the self backup thing that Bancroft did.
Right.
Or Ortega. Watch, this is gonna happen.
But it's gonna, it's
This is
gonna
gonna happen.
That I think is totally right. I think you're right on the money with that. It's gonna be that stereotypical, You know what? It would be really interesting if Tack was like, "Pap, Ortega, we're done here. You were useful in the time that I had you, sister. We're gonna see what happens with this."
Or
But
maybe he'll kill them together. Ray and Takeshi. Like blow him up somehow. Into something.
Battle of the
Maybe.
Envoys. Battle of
Yeah.
the Envoys is what I see at the end.
I mean,
Envoys, there's only 2 of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Unless Quell shows back up.
That also is a possibility and would be interesting because now you have that. You killed her, but I don't know.
Right. But there's not only that, but then you also have the love triangle between Takeshi and
Ortega.
and Quell.
I don't think that's a no-brainer in my opinion. If Quell shows up, that's it for Ortega, and thank God. I think the story. I think she's going to die. Ortega, I think, is going to not make it.
You don't think we're gonna get Riker back?
No.
That's an interesting one.
I think
That could be an
it's
interesting
on-
twist, is if Tack gets a new sleeve. Well, obviously he's going to probably hopefully get a new sleeve. And then we somehow get Riker back. And then those two are kind of off and on their own side quest.
Right.
Unless they cloned Takeshi's body, I don't think they're going to get a new sleeve, because then we can't like relate to the character anymore. Cause
Well, we know. I mean, Fight Drome has kind of been destroyed, but we know that like his DNA was out there someplace.
Sure, but that's a lot to just throw in the penultimate episode. I mean, they
Right.
can do it, but
Um,
it's a lot.
I think that's fair though, and I think that's a very good possibility. I think getting a new sleeve doesn't necessarily mean getting his own sleeve back.
Right. Yeah, it could totally.
But what
be,
I'm saying is,
a
like,
different
we've
one.
been with this actor for the entire time. We've known Takeshi in his original sleeve and the new sleeve. Like, if you throw him into
Right.
a new body, that's going to disconnect the audience.
Dude, I like
from
that.
the
That's what
character.
this show does. Is it says nothing's important. Nothing you think is important is important.
To connect to the character is important to any storyteller.
I agree,
Yeah.
but you're connected to the idea of Tack, his character, not necessarily what and who he looks like. I'll tell you right now, I'm much more attached to his original sleeve
That's
than
with
I am the
Doctor
white
Who.
Exactly,
guy.
so
Like
it's
Doctor
important.
Who changes out doctors like now, like every 3 or 4
But that's
years.
in the beginning of the season or the end of the season. You're reintroduced. If you change his sleeve at the penultimate episode, like then I'm gonna look at him like I don't care anymore about.
No, but see, I
Takeshi.
still care about Tack. I don't care what sleeve he's in because it's just that's
All
just
right, well,
Tack.
if it happens, then we'll see what you say at the end of the season.
All right, well, let's see.
Also,
Let's
you're
see.
kind of an
On
off-kilter
record.
guy, so I don't know if I should be asking you this. You're just like, I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck attitude.
It's like,
That's
yeah, he's like, it's a
Y'all
war
don't
body.
know me.
It's all good.
yeah.
So well, I've also said that on the end of dates. But no, it's true. You know, I really think that the show would kind of keep that theme if, at the end it's just like new sleeve. Who cares?
Season 2, if he gets a new sleeve, okay, that's more understandable, but don't change it now.
Hopefully with the connect.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean, Joel
burn.
Kinnaman did I believed his. Oh my God, what's going on here? Look.
Mm-hmm.
The Luke Skywalker look.
Yeah. No, it's impossible.
Stop it.
You're lying.
It just depends. He is a good actor. He was in The Killing, I think, one of those British shows. He was good
Yeah.
in that. It just depends on the material he gets.
Again, I just
I mean, if you
I'm
put him
not
in
sold.
RoboCop
You're
and
right.
Suicide Squad, you're not going to get much, but... These showed some range in this. I mean, Daniel
In
certainly
RoboCop?
agrees with you. Oh, no, with Magnum. He said
you
he's
a
not a big
believer?
fan of
Oh.
Joel either.
Well,
okay. Battlestar. I totally agree. That was like the worst. That was just terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
What
my
is
God.
with this whole,
And the
like, he's
elevator
some kind
scene.
of preacher, killer, assassination guy?
And that his
Yeah,
sister's some kind of god. It's
yeah,
like,
I see. Yeah, that's just all.
Where did that come from? Like, they're not a cult? The last time I checked.
Well, apparently there is one that says, okay, these guys who are super rich are gods. No, they're just super rich, and you know that's how things work. So I don't.
There's
I
no
don't understand
theological aspect to this show at all.
and I don't see how she's answering his prayers at all. He's still her bitch.
Right.
So I'm like, unless they're sleeping together, which I'm clearly.
Probably
she's-
not.
Probably not. You don't sleep with the help. I mean, in my opinion. I don't.
mean-
I don't. At least I don't know.
I don't know what country you come
Wow,
from, but
you're
it's
such a
definitely a thing here.
Oh, okay. That's part of the application process.
I mean,
Okay,
Schwarzenegger
let's-
slept with his help.
Let's
Whoa.
fast forward, please.
All right.
Yeah, so I think we've pretty much covered most of the stuff from these 2 episodes.
I think so. I
Yes,
think
I
we've
think
hit
we
most
did
of them.
too.
Yeah,
we're
what we're
getting
expecting from
crazy.
next week.
Yeah.
Or you're getting crazy.
Yeah, you know,
I've
too
always
late.
been crazy, honey.
So yeah, I think that's gonna do
Feelings,
it
feelings are
for
no.
the week.
I think so. I think we're good. He's really trying to get us the hell off the
I
camera.
know, he's
And I
making
can
that tense
understand.
face, so he's like, I'm trying to hold it together.
Before we leave, though, where can we find you guys on the social media or next on any of our channels?
I don't have a home anymore now that we canceled the Infinity Watch and the Watchtower for now. But I think I'm going to be on After Dark next week, and then you can catch me on Facebook at Miggy Spicy and on Twitter at Miggy Spicy.
Nice. And you can catch me Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on our Achievement Unlocked
The Twitch.
series, the Twitch. It's
You're going to be on Pachimari this week too, right?
Am
I think.
Okay, I might be on
Ke-
Pachimari
yeah,
as well.
Kelly's not around, so this is the beginning of stage 2
Okay.
of the Overwatch
I've-
League.
This is news to me, folks. But I do occasionally.
That's how we find out our
kinda-
schedules.
Boom.
I think
We're live.
Going to live shows.
I'm doing it Bill O'Reilly style. We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
Doing it live.
So, so we do it, and so you can catch me on Driving in Circles every Wednesday if you really, really like the Tony Starkness, which I appreciate the reference. I did. That was that ego boost. Not that I needed much more of a boost there, but Driving in Circles with John Wednesdays on the Twitch, and then I occasionally fill in and I do things as much as I can.
Yeah, well, we've got some new stuff that's coming up, so hopefully we'll be able to get you onto one
I
of
really
those.
enjoy it, and you guys have been great.
You can find me on Twitter at the Goldman. You can find me on that new Vero thing, Vera, whatever the hell it's called.
What is that?
Why?
I have no
getting
idea.
into
Like,
this.
I'll tell you what.
No.
I
I'm
like,
too old for this
I
shit.
like the setup. I like.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
I like the UI better than Twitter and Facebook a little bit because it
Why?
allows.
Because it's simple.
Well, not only is it simple, but it displays things better. So, like when you post a link to an article or you post a link to a video, it's right there. Like on Facebook, if you post a link to a YouTube video, it doesn't
like a
play it right.
preview or whatever.
So this actually plays things the way it should.
Okay.
So
Okay.
on the surface,
Again, off topic.
on the surface, it seems like it's a little bit better. But you can find me there. Just look me up, Josh Goldman. I don't know how the ad system on that works. You can also find me here doing whatever it is I'm going to do. I think I'm on After Dark next week too because I lost the bet, so I have to eat one of those stupid chips.
What bet?
Joe and I and JD and Daniel all had a bet where we had to give things up for a certain amount of time, and Joe broke it, like really quickly.
Of course.
And then
Did
I
you
was
say
like,
don't have a drink?
yeah. For him, it was he couldn't drink. For me, it was I can't drink soda. And I was like, oh well, Joe already lost, so
You have no discipline.
so I don't. It doesn't matter. The bet's over. Not realizing that it was in order of succession. So now I'm stuck with that too.
How are you with spicy things?
Fine, usually.
It's pretty much how I feel about that as well.
But yeah, other than that, I think I might be starting up doing some stuff on the Twitch as well when
Nice.
Sea of Thieves comes out in a few weeks.
Okay.
I want to do things on the Twitch.
So do things on
Come
the
on
Twitch.
in.
I'm
Come on
playing
in.
Batman Arkham. No, not Arkham anything. The Batman Telltale series right now.
Okay.
I still need to
episode
finish. I still need to finish the first season. I'm up to like episode 4, but I like it.
I do.
It's
I like
really
it a
good.
lot. The first episode.
Most of the Telltale stuff is really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wolf
but-
Among Us.
But anyway,
Top notch.
that's gonna do it for us. Subscribe to the channel.
Thank you.
Because-
To keep up
We-
to date with everything trending in pop culture.
and
With
in-
Renegade.
Renegade out.
to keep up to date with everything
Gang sign, I
pop
like how you
culture
wrote it.
renegades.
We keep everything
Just
renegade.
kill us. Get us off.
Renegade out.
Thanks,
to
guys.
a desert.
It's fine.
Wow.